Alrighty, guys, welcome to the stream. Thanks so much for joining us. I started a little earlier just to get into the close. We can talk about these indices. They are up and they are up large, and it looks like this whole thing is a flash in the pan. And I want to just quickly talk about a few things here coming into it. I hope everyone's having a great day. I hope everyone's feeling a little bit better now that things have recovered partially here. And what we're seeing really is a bit of a movement back into the big quality stocks, and then hopefully we'll see a bit of a movement into the smaller stocks after that. If we scroll down the right-hand side here, you'll notice that it's not really the hyper stocks that are doing that great. It's just generally everything else. And let's just have a look here at the SPX weekly. So the SPX, it's bounced. The S&P 500 has bounced. It's moved back to 46.60. That's a decent close here at the end of the day. And I haven't read the news yet. But I assume that this whole thing is looking like it even could be a positive. Now, if you look at things like Ackman's discussion or anybody else's, I'll use some quotes here. He said that it could be a good thing for the market with this particular virus. And the reason why he says that is because if it is more, like weaker but more spreadable, then that could be actually a positive because, of course, it become the dominant one. This has happened before. I'm not a medical expert. But anyway, 46.60, good closure out here. Could be really, really nice. Let's think about what we have going on. So we've got previous support. We've broken past that. We've closed here. We're going to close right on this zone. We've got 4 minutes till it happens. It's going to close above. That's a good sign. Straight back in. It looks very likely that we're going to snap all of this. Let's have a look at the US 100 here. US 100 right at resistance into the close in terms of the 4 hour. Is that good or bad? I mean, it's definitely a great sign getting back up there. Day traders will be excited for tomorrow because the next day trade, if you move above here, day traders are going to be looking for a full-on ramp. And I think as we get more information about this, it's going to be a big deal. It isn't seasonally a very strong period of time for the bigger correction. Remember, we're talking still around that late Jan to Feb for a bigger correction. This has shown us that the market already thought that the Fed would stimulate due to the fact that DXY was actually dropping. So it dropped. Remember, DXY, just for all of you guys, 2 interest rates have already been packed into the DXY for next year, at least 80% packed in. They were packing in a 3rd interest rate hike. These are hikes. So US 500 looks really, really good. US 100 looks fantastic. We are into resistance, though, at the close. So you might notice a little bit of a sell-off after the close. But look at that resistance across the board there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is looking much, much better. Let's have a quick look at what the community says. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. If you could give us a smash thumbs up, that'd be great. I'll tell you why. It's technically my birthday today. So there you go. That's why I was a little bit later. But yeah, I will go back to being earlier on the close. So don't worry, guys. We'll get back there. We need to get Tom to move to the States so he doesn't have to wake up at midnight. That's true. Yeah, for the open, I would not do that one. It's actually 1:30 a.m. Right now. It's about 8 o'clock, but in the morning. But yeah, I'll move back to the normal. It's just today I felt like having a little rest. It's okay. Tesla, let's have a look at that. 5% up. Fantastic. Let's move into the 2-hour time frame here, just into the close. I know a lot of you guys like it. We've got 2 minutes to go. In general, things looking very positive. This could be an overall even bigger net positive if it becomes the dominant one as well. Remember, a weaker virus that is more susceptible to spread, let's just say it does happen. Ackman's not wrong in his comment about that he says that could be a positive, and that's definitely a thing there. So we've got here a resistance. We've got a movement in terms of the trough, the peak, the higher trough, and possibly even a higher peak here. It's a nice closure. It looks like it's going to be above that previous resistance, and a lot of people are looking for that movement back up to the 1200. So Tesla looking great into the close. Goes in hand, I guess, with the US 100, US 500. IWM, pretty disappointing here. I mean, it's holding its trend line, but frankly, that is a disappointing rally. I'm not sure what exactly is getting belted, if it's financials. Let's have a quick scroll down. Square down quite, not up very much. What is this? Is it financials that are getting hit? I'm not even sure which one. But yeah, this is a disappointing closure here for IWM. I think it's on the support, but certainly look for this to hopefully rally in the next session if we can hold up. What other stocks are there that are really moving a lot here? Let's have a quick look around. So we've got Barber just continues to be weak. Obviously, the AAPL, the Amazon, all moving back up. Let's have a look at Amazon. Okay, it's a good closure. It's not ideal. I mean, we want it above here. That's where you want the real closure. Once that happens, you expect follow through and it should smash the top off. So watch that one very, very carefully. We're talking about 36.34. We will cover crypto in a few minutes, and we've just closed. So let's have a look at the SPX close. Go to the 1 hour. Okay, so a little sell off there at the end. Not to be unexpected. I'm hoping like this now. Something like that for the SPX. We expected the dip purchase. It's very likely. The Monday after Thanksgiving is 71% likely to be bullish. That's a huge stat. We've brought that stat up several times. And also a day after what it looked like a flash crash is also likely. So hopefully a few of you guys got into the futures action on that one. $7, 77, $4 super sticker. Thank you so much, $10. Hi, Tom. Top of the morning to you and the crew. Thank you very much, $10. Appreciate that. Thanks for the birthday wishes, guys. Appreciate that, guys. A lot of you saying that. Fantastic. Thank you. All right, what do we got here coming in? Twitter, Tom Dorsey is resigning as the Twitter CEO. No, really? Really? So he's only going to focus on Square, is that right? So he's going to stay on Square, I assume. And the market liked it initially. Oh, wow. It's probably a good thing for Twitter. He hasn't focused on it in a long time. You can kind of tell. So the market liked it and then really didn't like it. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think it's probably a good thing. It's on about support right now. Very interesting news, though. Thank you very much, Simon. Thank you, Sandollar, again. Appreciate it, man. Tom, based on what you're seeing on my screener, is fintech getting hit and hurting the IWM? Oh, thanks very much, man, Co-op, for telling me that. Yeah, so it's fintech. How's PayPal going today? PayPal still just holding around. Yeah, I think that's a huge part of it. Nvidia up 6%. Cat moving well today. Let's have a quick look at Cat. Let's see these closures. Is it really moving well today? I mean, if you're shorting it, then yeah. If you're longing it, you really wanted it above here. Which is a good little turnaround story, actually, before this whole flash thing happened. So Cat's certainly one of those ones where, yeah, you'd hope it holds 187. Nvidia is up 6. Let's have a look at Nvidia. It's just a beast, this stock. Look at that, almost all-time highs again. Came back to the previous resistance and just went bang, bang. One sell-off day, which was barely even a sell-off, really, and then just straight back in. It shows that when you're purchasing, one of the things that I think you always need to remember is what is the elasticity of the stock. So this means that has the stock been really strong previously into that before the crash and before that kind of flash that happens in the market? Because if it is, technically what happens, it goes like this. And then it obviously goes right back down and then it quickly rebounds because it's very strong. There's a lot of buyers around it. There's a lot of people, eyes on it. And you've just got to think about that price elasticity coming into a crash. A lot of people will go and they'll say, okay, I'm going to go now buy, my beaten down stock, like my PayPal at the moment, or I'm going to buy something else. What you should be doing is looking at the stocks that have moved recently, e.g. the Apple, e.g. the Google, these types of things that have moved very, very hard, and then focusing in on those. That's very, very important. For anyone in the private community, you'll know that we had a look at this one yesterday. So this is actually pretty good. I'll show you guys as well. This is the TAN index, the solar index. It's right around the right area. And you guys know I love sectors, and sectors that are finding support and also bouncing. This is a pretty big deal. So we've got here a bit of a long leg doji. We've got that rejection hammer that happened today, which is a fantastic sign. And we just want to see these kind of flow through momentum. You can really reward a trade like this as it completes above. So as it moves up, TAN index looking pretty good. Anyone like the solar index right now in the chat? Let me know. And we'll look at crypto in a second as well, because crypto is doing very, very well. Let's go through a few other things. Gold, disappointment, frankly. Another poor day of gold. It's still on support. We had some good, like what looked like some good price action earlier, but we need it above this area here. So we really need to see it above that 1810. We've got accumulation base. Now we need to see it bounce up. If it breaks underneath here, that's really bad. But I mean, we're basically in December. We're on November 30th. So tomorrow we'll be in December. And once that breaches to the upside, very good sign. But if it breaches to the downside and closes, that's actually a really bad sign. So this is the put up or shut up kind of for gold area, I feel. It may like do some false breakout, but at this stage, we haven't seen the confirmation of a turnaround story. The daily looks kind of crappy. We have long leg doji, rejection candle, and then another one that comes into the support. So I'm hoping for a turnaround, but hope is not going to be enough. We need to actually see it go back up there. SPX Bulls 1. That's right, Silver Line. It's good. And Chupa says, oh my God, gold. What the hell? Have you not looked at it there, Chupa? Yeah, gold fell off quite hard. And this is a sign of why it's like IWM in some ways, why you've got to wait for the turnaround story. If you buy every level, if you're an investor, then you're just buying kind of dip zones. Remember, if you buy the resistance, and I said I'd do this for you guys, then that's fine. But please practice scaling concepts. Yeah. So if the market comes down like this, wait for the turnaround. It's a huge, huge difference in how successful you'll be as a trader when you're looking at trading zones. So look, let me show you this. So on a 1 hour, did we get a turnaround at our red box? Did we get a turnaround lightning bolt? Did we get a turnaround double bottom? Did we get a Wyckoff kind of event? Any of these high quality setup events? No, we didn't. Did we even get it on the 15-minute? The answer is no. So it went straight through that zone. It then comes down to this zone, and it looks like it could do it, okay? It could have done it. This is the second buy zone, but it doesn't make that new peak. And when it doesn't make the new peak, guess what? We just don't get that follow-through action. And if you do this, if you just think, oh, I don't want to catch the falling knife. If you're an investor, okay, you buy whatever price. I mean, you don't have a stop loss probably anyway as an investor, so that's fine. But when you're a trader, you've got to look for the turnaround at your key zones. Was this a key zone? Yes, you're absolutely correct. Was this a key zone? Yes, you're absolutely correct. Is this a key zone? Yes, you're absolutely correct. In all areas, we're fine. I wouldn't blame you for having an entry here, okay, where you've got the support, the resistance snapped off, and you enter here. That's fine. But at least you're still in the trade and you've made a much better decision. So having an entry here will be fine. And then if you've now having a look at this, you're really looking for a resistance breakout. And that's going to be a huge accumulation base. Just like a stock, this is what you're looking for, guys. It's a big deal. And yeah, that's exactly what you're looking for in PayPal as well. You just don't want to be getting smashed up by it. Tack Winward, $5. Happy birthday, Tom. Thank you very much, Tack. Appreciate that. Thank you, man. And yeah, I appreciate your birthday wishes there. Trading gold commodities is this is Mohammed. Is harem. I don't know what that means, Mohammed, but thank you very much for the comment. Neo bullish pennant on the weekly. Let's have a quick look at that for you. Neo bullish pennant. In general, everyone that's coming in, thank you so much to the 550 people. We're seeing a bullish reversal here. As we see more news come through, I think it could be more positive. And remember, guys, if you are wondering, where should I really be panicking? Okay, where should I technically really be panicking in the market? It's generally going to be a closure underneath the weekly 20 exponential moving average. Until the price action, if you're someone that goes, you know what? I don't want to even look at the news. I don't want to pay attention to it. It's all just annoying me and I freak out every time, which is very valid. Then you're looking for a movement underneath the 20 moving average weekly and I'll explain that in a second, on the SPX for you to actually say, okay, now we're in a corrective environment, a proper corrective environment. Otherwise, most things are just looking quite bullish in general. So you say there's a pennant here. Let's have a look. So a pennant technically is, well, basically what you're looking for is this, the compaction of price, and then of course a breach. In this case, you've got a little bit of a compaction on the top end side, and you really do have, of course, I would probably go into the 2 hour here just to confirm it through, and then we'll have a look at the horizontal, and we'll have a look at the top. And yeah, I mean, you could draw it like this, and you could draw it like that, I guess. But for me, I prefer the horizontal. Try not to get too much into trend lines unless you can really see them, because you can get stuck in stocks where you've misinterpreted the trend line. Anyone in the community, have you guys ever misinterpreted a trend line and got stuck in a stock? Like, say for this one, I would draw like that as a trend line, and I would probably consider drawing the top end down, which is okay. So like those three there, that's all right, because you've got like at least some consistency there. But if you take this, again, it's one of those ones where practicing scaling would be good. You've got a break here, fantastic. Then you break the resistance horizontal, fantastic. What could you do? You could potentially scale there. And then, of course, you're looking at that next resistance. Don't think there's much. It's a bit choppy here in Neo, but thank you very much for bringing it up. David says, happy birthday, Tom. Can you give thoughts on CELH, please? Okay, we'll do that. Thanks very much, guys. My thoughts are it's down quite a lot. This is not a trend line that's worth drawing, it looks. So I don't know why I haven't put that there. Yeah, I mean, it's slowly grinding down. If you actually go on a 30-minute or a 15-minute chart, what you'll notice is this grind is actually fairly consistent. So see here, you've got basically a downward channel. So maybe if you're really loving the stock, you're looking for it to break out of this trend, and that's the first sign of recovery. First sign, okay? Not overall a heavy recovery, but that is certainly the first sign. I think it looks very much like it's doing this. And the support, at least horizontally, is probably somewhere around, yeah, probably right around here, about that 66, 65. This is one that you want to box up, and you'll be looking for a turnaround story either here down to around here. It's a pretty big wide range, but this is where you're looking for that sign of accumulation. And we haven't got that yet, David, but that's exactly how I would do it. Someone said something about Powell. Where's Powell? Congrats, Tom. Is Powell speaking today? Yeah, I thought he already spoke. Isn't he meant to have spoken at 3 o'clock ET? Also, can you look at NVAX? Is there a lawsuit? No way. Really? Well, I guess there might be. So have a look at the daily here. Lawsuit is very disappointing on this stock. 11% down. It had so many positive signs. It's on support again, but if it has a lawsuit on it, you'll have to look into that. Unfortunately, they can move things. Depends how big a reel it is. Up 150% on my PFE puts. Yeah. Taking the reverse on the vaccines is probably... Actually, how's Moderna looking? mRNA. That should be down pretty hard. Is it? No? It's up. Okay. So PFE is down. Huh. Interesting. And then the Moderna is up. That's actually a good break. I thought it would find some resistance around here. Interesting. We have a super chat here coming in from Daman Sahini, $7.99. Good morning, Tom. ASX 200 till December. Your thoughts? Education purposes, obviously. Thanks very much. You keeping well? Absolutely am. Thank you very much, Daman. I will do that for you now. Let's have a look at XJO. This is the ASX 200. Then we'll do crypto in just a few seconds. So I actually quite like the ASX 200 support here. If we have a look at some of the things that have happened, we've obviously had that break of the trend line down. That created some consolidation. It's a big deal. It's a pretty big trend line. I mean, you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 breaches down. Pretty big deal. Then we've hit resistance. We've come down, hit resistance, come down. We've got a bit of a bounce here in the previous session. You can see it's great support. And then based on what Wall Street's done today and based on this pullback and how everything's looking, We hope this holds, and then we move up. And of course, we get through 74.69 here. I think new all-time highs. So you're really looking at, can this 7,200 hold up? And it looks like it will at this stage. Go to the weekly here. Again, previous resistance back in Feb of 20. That was the high. Then we see how bad our market got here in Australia. It got horrible. And then it's really recovered quite strongly after that. So it's definitely on a support. It had a nice little bounce yesterday. I feel like Wall Street is showing us the way here a little bit based on the current information. I mean, remember, we're not necessarily that privy to what's going on in the health world, but it looks like whatever the new variant thing is not as big a deal, and it's moving up. It's moving back up. It's showing strong movement, not just like weak movement on the S&P 500. Strong movement. So yeah, I like the support. And then my thoughts: key level here, key level here. I'm looking for a turnaround at this stage. Still remaining bullish overall. Thanks very much, Miggy Sun K. Appreciate that. And we've got Nick Calhor, $1.99. Thoughts on O or REITs in general on the 50? Okay, let's have a look here. With a little kangaroo love heart. Oh, so this is a real estate REIT. Look, my thoughts on REITs on general have never been very positive. And I don't know, like, I've bought them before, but in general, I just don't get into the industry that much. And I guess that's because personally, I have other interests in property, so I don't really need to add extra ones. The other thing is sometimes the management is not as good as you think in these. This is actually a pretty good level. So we've got resistance, we've got support, we've got resistance, just a little bit before the resistance again, then the fourth touch it's trying to break. It's at the support. Let's go to the daily. Okay. So the daily's got a long leg doji on it. So you'll see here indecision and weakness. So if you're a bit of a day trader, you're looking for a little snap off here during the trade session. And then hopefully a movement straight up to 72 during that trade session. Break above that. Fantastic. Nice consolidation above the peak as well overall. So, yeah, I don't mind it. Just a little bit above here. That's what you're looking for there, Nick. Thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate that. ATVI. Oh, let's have a look at this absolute pig of a stock. Let's see what's happening here. $60 for ATVI. Have they got rid of the CEO yet? Is Bobby gone, guys, or is he still here? Anyone up to date with the ATVI story? Tell me if Bobby's gone or not. He's bad, man. He's bad. All right. Well, I think that this is a story of gross mismanagement. One of the best games companies, gross mismanagement, gross misconduct. Who the hell knows what the hell they're doing? They need to get. I think the board clearly needs to be reshuffled. Now, that's my opinion. I get a bit passionate about this stock, as you know. It would have been done in every other company by now. It's on nothing. I mean, you can't tell that's support or not. The only real big support is going to be underneath. So we need to see more news. And unfortunately, it's still a falling knife at this stage. Let's get the turnaround story. We have not got that yet. Look at the 4 hour. Still breaking down. Got to keep watching it. Thank you very much, Daniel Polk. Happy birthday. Stay healthy. Best wishes. Trend lines that have replaced the levels and zones. Very good. Gunga Din, $5. Donate money to Tom Tightwads. Thanks very much, Gunga. Appreciate that. Thank you, man. It's pretty funny. Look at that. Look at that picture. Oh, wouldn't we like to be there right now? Nice sand. Looks like some beautiful ocean. Possibly some good fish. Looks fantastic. We'll do the crypto in just a sec, guys. And have I caught up with everything? I think I have. All right. Trooper says real estate brings really good tax deductions in Australia. Yep, certainly brings a whole bunch of things in Australia. Gary says, another marginal close in IWM. What the hell is wrong with it? We have to look at the sectors that are moving. And whenever you get like a big freak out of the market, they go back to the big stocks and then they push the small stocks. So we hope that the small stocks do better tomorrow. It's right on that support for IWM. It's very, very weak at this stage, but we hope for the turnaround. What do I think about the gap up on the NAS? Yeah, let's have a look at the index gap itself. So a lot of people will now say, well, can we fill that? Now, we know with gap fills, it's usually in that 3 to 4 days that we get the gap fill. So it's really around here. We did the 30-day study and it really drops off. I'll see if I can bring that stat in today. That being said, if this is a news-based position, so TA is really good over the long term. Obviously, when you're looking for your overall picture, things like we mentioned before, the weekly 20. If it's not below the weekly 20, we shouldn't really be freaking out the market. The market's telling us not to freak out at that stage. That's where we get that freak out event. And I don't know if we're going to fill the gap. A few gaps haven't filled recently, so don't just always think the gap's going to fill. So this is really the gap we're talking about here, the closure point to the open. It's a fairly strong closure here for the NDX, and in general, I think the market is looking towards the upside. We'll keep updating you though. I'll make a video soon when I have a little bit more information about it. It's Tahiti, says Guga. Thank you. Oh, that looks great. Fantastic, man. All right. Let's do some crypto. Crypto has been pretty cool. So let's talk about how we've got crypto traps. Now we're using the log scale here. So we're using logarithmic for Bitcoin and crypto at the moment. I guess it is probably the better one to use. There's a few reasons why, but in general, it seems to give you a bit better trend lines, and that's important. So we thought we had the green zone here. We're obviously looking for a turnaround story there. Now, if you had the log scale, you'd also have that trend line on the bottom, and you wouldn't have hit, of course, 52.5. You would have just hit the trend line on the bottom. So that's where it's bounced off. You'll notice it's here. I mean, that's a good sign. But in general, even if you're looking at it and you're looking for the turnaround story, what are you doing? There's accumulation base here. You get a resistance breakout. Fantastic. And what I like most about what I'm seeing in Bitcoin right now is this. So if we actually go, yeah, we're on a 2 hour. So let's have a look here. So we know that this 60,000 is a big deal. But this is what I'm talking about with the idea of scaling. So you basically got a downward trend. It's consolidated at the resistance, weakened a little bit, and then smashed through that just then. Now, this is where many people will have scaled here, many people scale here, and then if it gets past 60,000, of course, more people scale. This is a good sign for the crypto markets across the board. Bitcoin's really, really, really strong from the TA side of things, and I feel like both of these zones are pretty damn good. So it's really, really nice. I was hoping for a little bit of a turnaround like this. Previous supports, movement up, but you don't always get what you want. And you've just got to take, of course, the closure points when it happens. So 60,000 is the big deal here. Let's now scroll up the time frames to get a bit of an idea how important the 60,000 is. So we've got here supports across the board, obviously one false break. Then we've got a bit of congestion. We've got resistance, and just before resistance. So that proves that this is a good zone. Let's have a look at the 8 hour. 8 hour, even more clear that this is a good zone. Again, you can see this breakout here. And then we go to the daily. Another fantastic kind of area. Now, there is some 2050, which is why, of course, you reward the trade as it makes the right decisions. You scale into it. As it gets past this, most people will be looking for the participation in that zone. I feel like 60,000 is the key area. What do you guys think? Do you have any other zones that you like on Bitcoin, on Ethereum, etc.? We'll take a look at the others in a second. Tack Winwood, $5 birthday spam. Appreciate it, Tack. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. And thanks to the 600 people coming out to join us today. Have we done oil? No, we haven't done oil just yet. We'll do the commodities as much as we can after. So I really like the Bitcoin. If we notice, if we go to the FBTC chart, We called this a while ago. We're talking about Ethereum versus Bitcoin and the strength of Ethereum versus Bitcoin as a ratio. And that's continued to hold up here. So you'll notice resistances, breaches, comes down, hits the support, and then moves up. So really quite beneficial to have been in Ethereum versus Bitcoin in terms of the overall top to bottom loss. It's less in Ethereum, and Ethereum's still plugging towards that 0.08. Now, if it does break 0.08, let's have a look here on the weekly. You'll get a bit of an idea here that it's a big deal. I mean, 0.08 hasn't been broken for a while. And if it does closure above it, we could be looking at a really nice alt seasonal movement for Ethereum. So just remember that 0.08 resistance is coming up. Here's Ethereum itself, 4,500 breaching, moving up, very strong. Weekly looked fantastic, actually. Got a weekly long leg doji. Imagine if we get a closure above that, that'd be a big deal. We go to the daily, nice consolidation, great support here, much stronger on the support line. And we're looking for a breach above. So Ethereum may even show us what the crypto market's thinking before Bitcoin actually gets through 60,000. That's how strong it's been. Base, movement, beautiful hammer here. Fantastic hammer. I'm sure many people are in these feeling pretty good about themselves, and fair enough. It's pretty good. Yeah, I like it. Mohammed 1409 AED 1799 to my browser. Tom, thank you very much, Mohammed. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. I assume that's for my birthday as well. Appreciate it. Terry M says 61.5K for Bitcoin. Yeah, 61.5 is another confirmation, but 60K looks pretty good to me. I like both zones, so that's good. And PK Summon says it's been scaling in 53 to 55. Well done, PK. I've seen you in the comments a lot mentioning about that, so that's good news. Congrats. ADA, this is how I've got it drawn at this stage. It's pretty weak, which is annoying. It has bounced heavily, and it looks again to be trying to really breach through here. It's going to do what the other coins do in terms of at least initial recovery. And then in terms of becoming more popular, it's all going to come down to its ratio. And I think this is a worthy ratio of looking at. I did actually look at it yesterday, ADA ETH ratio. And what you'll notice is it's right. Oh, this is the stupid ADA ETH ratio. 1 second. We need a older one. There we go. It's right around that previous support that we had, the May lows. So ADA is very weak in proportion to a lot of other coins. Now, does it deserve to be? I've seen ADA come alive many, many times. Look, if LTC can continue to have spikes, why can't ADA? So it's getting into a ratio where many crypto people will be getting a bit of a fan of this one. And ADA is not like XRP, where if you're in XRP, anything can happen. He could sit there doing nothing for months and months and years and then break out. It's really, XRP is more of a look for the potential breakout and move into that kind of thing. ADA, however, should be a better project coin. So I'm hoping this is going to be a support. And if it isn't, we may see ADA even go down to ratios as low as this. But overall, it's a much tastier ratio than it was back in the August period when everyone loved it so much. 60 is definitely the resistance to watch from Tolga. Very good. And Monica says I bought more ETH after you looked on the charts and found it, Monica. Thank you very much. I like that. Good work on the educational component there. Garrett Celh, $4.99. Have an American light beer on me, Tom. Happy birthday. Maybe I will. Maybe some light beer American. So it's a Bud Light, a Coors Light. What else have you got? I don't know. The Paps, Blue Ribbon. I didn't actually hate that. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that good, but it wasn't that bad. Which is the best of those ones? You guys vote. Which is the best of those ones? Thank you very much, Garrett. Appreciate it. And then we've got Hein Christensen knock $100. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. There's no comment here, but he says happy birthday, Tom, underneath. Thank you very much, Hein. Very much. Thank you. ADA costs will win out in the end. It may take years though. Yep. And then we got here, Crago says ADA is useless. Their smart contracts are a meme. There we go. So it didn't really work out, and something to do with delisting as well. Miller Lite. Is that the one? Natties. I've never even heard of that. All American beer is bad. I think it's all right, Joe. Some's all right. I don't mind. It's all good. Let's have a look at the KSM, the Polkadots. So you guys know I like these coins quite a lot. Just from, I think Polkadot is, well, I've always thought Polkadot was better than ADA personally, but here we've had support. We're breaching that. It's not really a very clean chart, but we are looking for a resistance breakout right here, about 370, a resistance breakout. And we've seen where KSM has been. It's been upwards of that $500 recently. So look, the coin market's looking really great. Bitcoin's really leading the charge in terms of just showing us the best technical, but Ethereum's much stronger. Polkadot's much stronger. In general, the other coins are doing a good job of recovering here. You can see here the bullish hammer that's come off. This is the type, like, I mean, even with Polkadot, if you're looking at it, you see something like this declining, what you should always be doing is then going into the smaller time frames and seeing whether you can draw up a legitimate trend line. Okay, we only want legitimate trend lines, and I would say that's fairly legitimate. So we're looking for that smaller time frame. Could be like a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders, breaches through. Where does it breach? Look at this, support, 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 becomes resistance. That's when you know that you've drawn a good trend line, because you've got a key horizontal that interacts with the trend line itself. And what are key horizontals? Support, resistance, support, 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 breaches through, comes back. At the same points it breaks the trend line, it breaks the horizontal. Fantastic sign. You see it, guys? That's the thing you want to be doing with your TA, trying to get that. I also would probably suggest you use log. I've checked the log versus non-log in crypto. The log just gives you better lines. Absolutely. Finken says, don't mess around, just drink scotch. Oh, well, I've been given the light beer, so I better do that. Dot is one of the worst layer ones year to date out of YouTube populars. It's parachain sales now. I thought Dot did pretty well this year. I guess in terms of when it got popular. So it was just that January period. Ran hard into April, like the rest did, and then dumped hard. I remember that day. Don't you worry, I remember that day. Yeah. Look, each to their own in the crypto world. I just buy anything that's basically a network. I like networks. I'm not a big fan of the other ones. How about log versus non-log in market stocks? I haven't seen it being good enough, but in crypto, I certainly would use log. I'm still testing it. Look, you're always trying to evolve your concepts and always trying to make sure, like, see whether things work. And the reality is now Bitcoin's been better on the log in terms of trend lines 3 or 4 times I've seen it. So you've got to go with that. I mean, Bitcoin's trend line, look at it. It hits it. I mean, obviously we had the right zone. There's no doubt about that, but it's very consistent and it's showing a consistency here. And I like that. There's consistency in the trend lines that you're drawing. I mean, you can switch between both to have a look, but in the market, I'm not convinced. Let's have a look at Facebook. Some people are mentioning metaverse, the metaverse. Still just hovering. Jeez. I would have a bit of an alert above here, though, from a technical perspective. It's a big deal, this break. If that happens, where do we move to next? 380. So there is some bargains in the stock market. Not really, well, not bargains, but definitely better price stocks. And if we scroll through the US 500, you'll notice that the futures, let's have a look at the futures here. They're bouncing off that previous resistance. There they are. They've come down now. So they've gone, okay, cool. We're feeling pretty good. They're bouncing off this zone at this stage. Previous resistance. Previous support. That's good news. US 100 still looking quite strong. Remember, day traders will be all over this area tomorrow. 16,450. Breach could create rally. Mad Reefer says I use a 365 SMA. It helps a good bit. 365, really? Let me add it on. I want to have a look. Moving average. All right. Obviously, we're not going to use exponential at that point. Where are we? Here we go. 365 with the close, what you want. Your style, pick your color. We'll go with the pink here. And then we'll go with this color. There we go, so I can see it quite easily, which is good. 365, you think? Let's have a look at Bitcoin. Okay, 4 hour. I'm not sure if I'm believing. Go to SPX for a second. 2 hours. Okay, I don't see any interaction with it. 1 hour. It's an easy way to test it is to really look for interaction zones. So somebody might say, oh, well, look at this. But you've got to remember, if you go out to a daily, that's really just hitting the same line here as the 50. So yeah, not 1 over. Yeah, 365 is on the daily is a year. Yeah, I get that. I know why you're using it. That's why I laughed. Oh, good, Chris. I laughed for that reason. I used the 20, 200, and 365. Okay. Interesting. Well, I like 20, 50, 200. I'm probably not changing it yet. But yeah, I like what I can see here. These are the ones. I always think with moving averages, they're not that great. I mean, obviously using them as dynamic support resistance more than crosses. If crosses worked well, then you would always see heaps of people taking crosses, putting it into algorithms, they would work. They just don't work that well. Look at the cross down here. It crosses down, it goes whoop, and then straight crosses up and then goes back up. I mean, it is a big bit of news, but don't get won over by the crosses of moving averages. Use them more as dynamic support or dynamic resistance, okay, if it comes back up to it. That's the key zones we want to be looking at. JB says, I just like and subscribe. New views, learning the crypto language. Oh, okay. Very good. Thank you very much, JB. Gary says, I use the 20, 50, 100, 200, all EMA. Fair enough. Probably don't think you need the EMA on the 200, Gary, or maybe even the 100. But yes, the smaller time frames. Obviously, EMA, just for anyone that doesn't know, exponential moving averages put the weighting on the last couple of candles a little bit stronger, whereas an SMA is a smooth across the whole thing. So think of it as if on the daily, SMA is 200 days worth smoothed. If you put an EMA on, there won't be that much difference. But obviously, if it's had a big move recently, it will move around a little bit more there. Chris Alexander said, personally, I prefer my 69 420 cross as my indicator. Very good. Markets open only like 200 days a year. So 364 is more like 1.5 years unless you use it in crypto. That's true. Maybe in crypto, it's better, Timo. It's logical. I like that. Very good. All right, guys. Well, look, it seems like Bitcoin is doing the right types of things. I mean, we are moving towards our 60,000, which will be our big break. But I like what we're seeing here on the 2 hour and the 4 hour and every other time frame. We've hit the bounce. Remember, we're using a log scale here. We'll get rid of this one for now. Maybe bring that back later. But yeah, nice resistance breakout. You can see it's interacted correctly with that zone. So it's actually said, you know what? I do respect you. And then it's moved through. It said, I respect you, but I don't respect you that much. And then we've moved up. The SPX is looking much better. The US 100 is looking much better. The really elephant in the room is probably going to be IWM. This is a little sucky. I don't know why it's so bad today. So I'll have to go look at all the sectors underneath it and find out. Sounds like it was fintech keeping it down, but that's what someone said. We'll check that out. US oil bounced. So it moved back down and it's bouncing off this zone. So there's good and bad reasons for this. The good reason is we've got back at the support or around there. Now, if we breach through 73, we're basically putting in a double bottom. So we get through 73, we hopefully get through 75, and we movement up here. But we'll have to watch US oil. It's like if you're an investor and that's kind of your game, maybe you like this green zone and you're looking at buying it for the longer term in terms of energy. But as a trader, I don't think we've seen enough. Only that we've had a very decent test of the base again. So oil not showing us that much. Gold being a pain in the ass, hovering around the support, as we can see here. Nothing much. I'll put that in the daily video, give you my thoughts very, very soon. So don't worry about that one. We'll check it out soon. US 10-year coming down to the trend line. Overall, again, if we got rid of, see how the logarithmic doesn't really make any difference here. So overall, we're back on the trend line. US 10-year doesn't look like it's turning around, but that's the support being hit. So thank you so much, guys, for watching the stream. Do appreciate it. John Moore says, so is MACD as useless as a 2050 cross? MACD, you're using it more as divergence. So you want to use the divergence component. Obviously, MACD is two moving averages crossing each other. If you put them on, you'll see it. And then we'll check it out. But no, MACD is very good. You just want to use it as divergence. MACD particularly works well also in sideways markets when you're in a channel to recognize that class of divergence. And then you can get some very nice trades out of it. It's all about using the indicators when you think they're going to work well. And you'll notice I don't use a huge amount of indicators. And part of that reason is really because they cloud our judgment away from the psychology of the market, away from that left-hand side story. What is the left-hand side story? How does that look? In the next session, we hope for IWM to do better, and we hope also to see that US 100 crack that resistance. That'd be sweet. Bitcoin, still one of the better, or crypto markets being one of the better ones. And the VIX, as we suspected, dropped heavily throughout the day. Still high, 22.97. Not all the fears out of the market yet, but we'll movement down back into the 20 probably will happen. And I'll read on it very, very soon. Thanks so much, guys. I'll have a good day. I hope you have a great day. Appreciate the likes, the donations today for my birthday. Appreciate it, guys. And we'll see you in the next video, which will be out in a few hours. And if you don't join us for tomorrow's stream, remember, we will be going a little bit earlier. We'll start at my AM 7, which will be 1 hour before the market opens. So don't worry, we're coming back with plenty of content. We will go back into getting this close action happening. And we'll be doing all of that very, very soon. PK Summon says, money will go from large caps to small caps tomorrow. If we keep bullish, I'm hoping, PK. That is the very logical conclusion. And I like the way you're thinking. Yes. And that's what you should be doing. You should be thinking about, if I was a big money manager dude, what would I do? If I see discount, what would I do first? Buy the quality. Yeah. Then if I see discount somewhere else, I'd say, okay, cool. Well, we made some money here. That's cool. Maybe we sell the quality and we go into the marginal because that's really discounted. Everyone else is freaking out about it. And I feel like there's a lot of really big freak out there. So hopefully that happens. John Moore says, not if inflation fears don't revive. A lot of these things, I believe, will all become the discussion story. Inflation, of course, has been 2021 story. So far, hasn't really done much to the markets. 2022 will be the year of interest rate decisions. So this will be where everyone whinges about interest rate decisions. Remember, if it's in the control of the Fed or it's in the control of the government in general, it is more of an opportunity for the longer term for you. But if it is a black swan style event, e.g. the Evergrande situation in many ways has been the worst story in 2021, yet it hasn't necessarily smashed around the market as much. It is easily the worst story because long term, it will be massive ramifications. But when you make the CEO pay $1 billion USD of his own money to try to bail it, that shows us that they are bailing it at this stage. But eventually, I believe that will be where the big problems are in the housing market. Thanks so much. Catch everyone. Have a fantastic day, fantastic evening, fantastic night. And also, if you're in Australia, good morning to you. Goodbye, everyone. See ya. The stream will be closed tomorrow. So it's 7 a.m. my time, 1 hour before the close. Gary. All right, ciao.